Aloha. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. Call this meeting to order. My name is John Clark. Welcome to the Eva Neighborhood Board. We'll kick it off with the agenda now that I've called it to order with the rules of speaking. Alex, can you cover the rules of speaking, please?
Sure can. Oh, hi, everyone. Oh. Hello. Yeah. Aloha, this is your community public forum. Your input and cooperation are really appreciated. The Eva Neighborhood Board is an advisory board, and we provide fairness, integrity, and collaboration to all to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to raise their hand, and when recognized by the chair, to address comments to the chair. Speakers are encouraged to keep their comments under 1 minute, one turn per person. Those giving reports are urged to keep their reports less than 3 minutes and presentations under 10 minutes. Please silence all electronic devices. The board will make a good faith effort to provide the public with the opportunity to observe the meeting as it happens and an opportunity to provide oral testimony without a physical presence in the physical meeting room. Please ensure that your computer or phone is muted unless you are speaking. The board may take action on any agenda item. As required by the state sunshine law, specific issues not noted on the agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda. A 2/3 vote, 8 of this 11-member board is needed to add an item to the agenda. Items may not be added if they are of major importance and will affect a significant number of people.
Thank you, Alex. From there, we will move on to introduction of board members. Beginning in the physical meeting space, we do have some members online virtually. So we'll start at the opposite end, make our way this way.
Corey Rosenlee.
Aloha, Mike Plowman.
Aloha, Zach Espino.
Aloha, Susan Gorman Chang.
Hey, aloha. Thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate it. And glad to see you here. I'm Alexander Gauss.
Aloha. My name is John Clark III. Online, who do we have?
Aloha.
This is Jana. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Isaiah Kirton here.
Jana
Isaiah?
De La Cruz is here.
Okay, Jana, thank you. And is that in online? Just Jana and Isaiah. Okay, excellent. Moving on to public safety first responder reports, limited to 3 minutes each report. Follow-up questions and answers are limited to 1 turn, 1 minute per person. Questions in private or in writing to these officials before or after they speak will be greatly appreciated next time, in the interest of time. Looks like we got a pretty good house today. Honolulu Fire Department duty officer.
Good evening, firefighter Christopher Tamna, the Eva Beach Fire Station. The statistics provided below represent confirmed number of incidences in the neighborhood board's geographical area for the previous month. For more details on the incidences and related mapping information, please visit the fire response map on our HFD website at fire.honolulu.gov under the News and Info tab. Should you have questions, please email the HFD's Public Affairs and Media Liaison at hfdnhb@honolulu.gov. Information previously requested. The question was, with the new law regarding e-bikes, are there statistics on e-bike related incidents available? The HFD does not have any statistics on accidents involving e-bikes. Mayor Blangiardi signed Bill 52 into law on February 18th, 2025. And the Honolulu Police Department will be responsible for enforcing the new ordinance 25-6. So if you have anything, you could go ahead and direct your questions to HPD. Hopefully they can answer them for you. For fires, structure and wildland brush fires, 0 this month for March 2025. Nuisance, 6. Cooking, 0. Activated alarms with no fires, 9. A nuisance fire include rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle, in case anyone was wondering. Emergencies, medical, 192. Motor vehicle collisions with pedestrian, 1. Motor vehicle crash collisions, 14. 0 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues. Hazardous material incidences, 3. Fire safety tips and announcements for April 2025, fire safety tips, evacuation planning. Ensure you have an emergency preparedness plan in place for situations like environmental emergencies, fires, or natural disasters. Familiarize yourself with at least 2 escape routes from your home and plan an evacuation path if you must leave your neighborhood due to an emergency. For more information, visit fire.honolulu.gov. Leave early to avoid getting trapped by fire, smoke, or traffic delays. Set up predetermined meeting spots like trusted neighborhood or relatives' home, a low-risk area, a shelter, or evacuation center. Bring your emergency supply kit with essential items for your family and pets. Other than that, that's all I have. Any questions?
Questions from members of the board in the physical meeting space? Seeing none? Questions from members of the board in the virtual space? Seeing none? Questions from members of the community in the physical meeting space? Yes, sir. Please step up to the mic. Please step up to the mic. State your name and your question or statement. And smile. I said smile. Yeah. Yeah, you can move it back. Just push it back.
All right, this question for the fire department.
What's your name, sir?
Oh, John Leai.
Thank you, John.
How often do you guys go around neighborhoods to see, because there's people I see around that clutter,
Okay.
what you guys call borders or whatever,
Okay.
just to prevent any fire or any future fire. So you guys do make rounds in the neighborhood? Especially the old side, not the new ones.
As far as making rounds, I wouldn't say we make rounds, but I mean, we do drive around the neighborhood, and if we see something, we'll try to say something definitely, especially if we can predetermine that it may lead to an emergency or something like that. But specifically, there's no like schedule that says at this time we're doing a monitoring of this specific area or anything like that. Yeah, does that answer your question?
That's probably would answer the citation. I don't know if you guys issue citation.
As
Yeah.
far as for just neighborhoods and people around the neighborhood, no, we don't issue citations specifically for, people just around the neighborhood. Maybe for more like businesses and stuff like that, there's codes and stuff like that we do inspections of businesses, but as far as like clusters of
Residential.
people and things like that, we don't, especially even residences, we don't do routine inspections on residences.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, John. Alex, you had a question?
Yeah, thanks. Just came to me. Something that's been up for a couple times in discussion here. So I live in Old Eva down by Pu'uloa Beach Park, and we have the big tsunami center there. It's kind of like a big tinder box. And I was, and we know what happened obviously on Maui and all that with catching fire. And I was just wondering if there ever has been an analysis of a fire risk from that. And if there hasn't, I guess because I live right there, I am a little concerned that something like that could spark really quickly and spread real fast. And so I don't know. I guess I would ask that, if you could look if there is an analysis, and if not, could something be done to kind of evaluate that and maybe get back to us as far as how much of a risk is that area?
Yeah, that's definitely something we can try and request, and hopefully get that report back and see if there is a risk and what those risks are. But yeah, that's definitely something I'll write down.
Appreciate
and we can get back to you next month.
I have a quick question. That's actually a follow-up on the question that we had for you last week regarding the e-bikes, the injuries. So you said was 192 emergency responses, and you said 14 motor vehicle collisions. So the question that the board had was, how many of those motor vehicle collisions involve e-bikes? And if you could maybe break that out next time, that would be appreciated.
Okay, yeah, with me right now, it doesn't say specifically, but that's something I can definitely write down as well. And hopefully next statistic reading, they can actually possibly pinpoint that for you, but we can go ahead and request that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, no
Appreciate it.
problem. Yeah, no problem.
Be safe.
Thank you so much.
Next up, Honolulu Police Department. Online?
Good evening, Aloha Board Chair, members, Eva
Aloha.
community. Can you hear me?
Yes, aloha.
Oh, Thank you. Sergeant Fumi Moroka with HPD District 8 Community Policing Team. I'll be giving the stats tonight. Online are Lieutenant Carrera and I believe Corporal Pagan is online. So I will be giving the stats for the EVA community. Like HFD, we do have stats available online other than the ones that we give at the Honolulu board meetings. HonoluluPD.org. If you want to look up specific crimes and dates, locations, you can plug that in and get that as well. But the stats I give are standardized for the neighborhood board meetings around the island. So for the month of March, motor vehicle thefts, there was 9, burglaries, 1, thefts, 23, UEMVs, which are motor vehicle break-ins, there were 5. Total citations given in EVA, 957, total calls for service in EVA, 2,246. Announcements, you may have seen we did another e-bike enforcement at Campbell High School recently. 7 citations issued, which included 15 violations. 6 bikes were taken away, but returned back to the parents when they picked them up. HFD mentioned Bill 52 and HRS 25-6. They were put into law, approved, but they're not codified yet. There's no penalties and fines assigned to them, so we're not able to use that to cite or arrest yet. So what we did was mostly equipment violations for now, and so we did see less e-bikes and illegal vehicles, electric vehicles out there. So I think we're making headway. We did see some of the students that we cited on the first enforcement, they had their parents, I guess, got actual legal e-bikes and they were wearing helmets. Also, I had a parent tell me that they saw a student that they saw previously doing wheelies and stuff on their e-bike, getting dropped off at school by the parents. So I think we're making progress, and we are planning more enforcements in the future. So we're hoping that'll reduce e-bikes or illegal e-bikes on the public roadways. And yeah, we're just trying to do education as well as enforcement. So yeah, I just wanted to report that. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Thank you. Questions from members of the board in the meeting space? Corey? And then Susan?
Just a couple of clarifying questions. Number one, for Bill 52. I'm trying to read this and I'm trying to understand, are e-bikes still allowed to be on sidewalks?
They're not allowed in the business districts, but in a residential area, if they're on a residential sidewalk, they are allowed. Only if they're going up to 10 miles an hour, I believe, and they're not driving recklessly.
Okay, so just sharing, I know you talked about enforcement around Campbell, and I know some of these e-bikes can go up to like 30 miles per hour. You know, I've seen on Fort Weaver Road on sidewalks, these e-bikes going that speed, buzzing, you know, people that are walking, and it's clearly a safety hazard. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. We'll be doing enforcement not only at the schools, but on the public roadways as well very soon. So yeah, we'll be addressing all of that.
Thank you. Susan?
Yes, thank you. You were saying you had violations at Campbell High. Could you give us details about what those violations were?
So we had, we set up, right after the, e-bikes would enter into the, campus area or the driveways so that we would see the violations, of them operating the vehicles on a public roadway. And then once they come in, we would stop them and, do the enforcement, citations and, notify their parents that, they have to pick up the vehicles and things like that. So we were in plain clothes, but we had a police vehicle, kind of concealed so that it's not obvious. Otherwise, the kids would just go somewhere else, try and find another way into school and things like that.
Hey,
So-
let me just interrupt. So the violations are no insurance or no vehicle insurance present, no driver's license, no safety check, and no license plates. Those are common violations for electric dirt bikes. Does that make sense? Does that answer the question?
Yes, yes, thank you very much. And
Yeah.
is there any thought perhaps given to educating people what all the operating procedures, correct ones are? Doing workshops or things like that, just in case kids aren't aware.
Yeah, so part of the enforcement is when we do talk to the parents or we do give the warnings, we do tell them what the correct laws are. We are also working with the schools. I just had a meeting with the area schools in Kapolei and Eva to talk about the various laws and the differences in the laws and stuff and what they should and shouldn't be doing. And we are working with parents on that. HPD has put out material on their website. We have flyers that we put out. We're doing e-bike presentations. We currently have presentations scheduled or in the works for Kapolei High parents that we're looking at next month. So there's definitely, we're getting the word out, but, to some degree, we can only tell them so much. I mean, when you buy a lot of these, and I want to clarify that there's a difference between e-bikes and dirt bikes. What you guys are referencing or seeing that you guys are seeing like on the sidewalks going really fast or doing wheelies, those are dirt bikes. Those are not e-bikes. Those are illegal to begin with. And when you buy them from a store, they're sold and they're listed by the manufacturers as a dirt bike, and they're clearly stated as not for road use. So, we can educate people all day long, but when these people go to the stores to purchase these, it is black and white from the manufacturer, that this is an off-road vehicle. It is not a commuting vehicle. And so the bottom line is when you're buying one of these things, it behooves the parents or people who are purchasing these to do their homework. They have to understand the laws, and we'll try and educate people as much as we can. But at the end of the day, they're still responsible for purchasing these things and using these things responsibly.
Thank you, officer. Stay safe. Any questions online from members of the board? None? Any questions, members of the community? Please, come up and, okay, come on up, sir. To the microphone, state your name. Oh, don't forget to smile. Have to smile.
Yeah, about the e-bikes here. I was driving one day, coming up to the corner here, and I saw this adult riding an e-bike, packing a kid. How you like that one? Packing a kid. I came this close to hitting that e-bike, and the guy looked at me like it was my fault. He was gonna pull aside, ready to fight. I'm like, you kidding me? I mean, this is nuts. I mean, he's packing on a little kid, maybe elementary. And he's on the e-bike speeding and other cars going. I'm like, wow, this is nuts. Is it legal to pack a kid on an e-bike?
Officer?
If the e-bike is equipped
He
for a
wasn't
second
equipped
passenger,
with anything. He's just sitting right in front of his dad. No seat, nothing.
yeah, that's illegal. Yeah. There are
guess-
some vehicles that have, seats made for an additional rider, and they should have a peg or something to support their foot for, for safety or support. Those, could be legal, but it's like case by case, we'd have to look at it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
help.
very many,
No
but if they're
help.
just sitting,
Bad.
on the seat, that's illegal.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I said, wow, this guy is nuts.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, we see it often.
I see not just one, but I see a couple guys carrying a kid on the e-bike in the front of them while they, riding. That's pretty, and the bike is pretty fast.
It is, and dangerous. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate your testimony. Yes, sir. You want to come up? Anyone else want to come up and say anything as well? Please smile, state your name.
Melvin Amaro, Professor Melvin Amaro. Basically, here's my question for the e-bikes. I was trying to get my train of thought. I think in a quantum pattern, ASD. So basically, when you were talking, Corey, that is, if I'm correct. So you were talking about the e-bikes. You have to refresh my memory for a bit because my mind goes really, really fast. So can you please help me with that question so I can move on a little quicker? There was a question you asked about the e-bike. That's all? Okay. So I know of course, you already answered 5 to 10 miles an hour. So that's already answered. In fact, that's already common sense because that's already a law already. And that's a law that doesn't need to be a law because people already know that. So I'm going to move on. So basically for my question for the e-bike, how they're talking about where it can ride and where it cannot ride. There's also conflict of jurisdiction because in Waikiki, there's certain businesses also on sidewalks and different areas of the city where it's hard to determine because it's not like you can pull out a map or anything on your phone or a piece of paper. So that's conflict of jurisdiction. And that also should be common sense. Another thing too with e-bikes is here's what's the difference. Of course, we already know that the e-bikes actually come in different wattages. So basically you have e-bikes that are a little bit more powerful and underpowered. So when you talk about e-bikes and you talk about the Sorons, how they said they were illegal. Well, of course, we know that you cannot limit the Constitution. So you cannot tell people what they can and cannot buy. Here's why I'm upset. So basically, this e-bike thing that's been going on so people can actually go to the hearing. Some of this hearing was not available to me or not available to the board. I had to ask a specific person here on the board, and I missed a lot of the meetings because I called them and they did not answer and they did not email me. Another thing too is that we the people, so if we want to speak up and we want to have certain bikes, we can also speak up too, and the laws can actually be changed. Another thing too is when they talk about the Sorons, here's one thing about them. They can be made legal and they're still considered an e-bike. You know why? Because they're electric.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
But, okay, I just want to clarify.
But I'm
I
gonna
just
go
want to
for now.
clarify that. So when we're talking about the Sorons and stuff like that, I actually ran the VIN numbers of a lot of these high-powered electric bikes. If you go to NHTSA, right, which is the federal
National Highway.
organization of the federal government that deals with safety requirements of vehicles. If you run an e-bike that is high-powered, such as a Soron, according to NHTSA's website, these manufacturers are not registered with NHTSA, which means that they currently do not comply with safety federal regulations, and they are not for sale or use on public roadways. If you own a Soron, I advise you to go ahead and run that VIN in NHTSA's VIN decoder, and it'll basically tell you that you cannot use this on the roadway because these were made and sold for recreational use off-road.
Oh, I got a question and I can
Thank-
counter
thank-
that.
Sir, sir,
Actually,
Sir,
the reason
sir.
why I want to counter it, I
Sir,
have
we
a
have to
right
move
to
on.
speak. No,
Sir.
listen, I'll tell you why I have a right to speak.
sir.
Yes,
you-
but
you-
I have a right
sir,
to
I'm
respond.
not saying you don't have a right. What I'm saying is we have to limit your time to give others
Okay.
time to have
Well,
testimony during
here's the
this
thing.
time frame.
Here's why I think it's not fair. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why my constitutional speech right
Point of
now is.
order, Chair.
Tell you why.
Can you-
The
can you-
reason why I'm
Get
saying
this
this
mic.
is because
This-
guess why? I'm trying to counter this because I'll tell you why. Because with dirt bikes, here's the thing.
Chair, point of order,
It can
Chair.
be illegal because if they have a license plate and they have road tires.
Yes, yes, Senator,
They're
point of order. What's your point of order?
Point of order, if you already gave direction as the chair, and he needs to yield and not have be argumentative.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you, Senator. Moving on to Eva Weed and Seed. Officer Pagan, you online?
Yeah, hi,
Okay.
sorry. I am here. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties with my camera and mic. Weed and Seed is currently planning their golf tournament. It's on May 14th, I believe. Sorry, I forgot the date. I'm sorry, May 22nd. At the Huacale Golf Club. So if anyone is interested in putting a team together or interested in sponsoring, please, they can either contact me or contact Ms. Gail Braceros via the Weed and Seed website. We are in the process of, we had started our junior bowling. I think we talked about that last month. And we are currently taking 20 total kids from the Boys and Girls Club and interacting and mentoring them. As well as spending some time with them at the bowling alley and stuff like that, while we partner with Weed and Seed. Other than that, I'm open to any comments, questions, or concerns.
Thank you, Officer Pagan. Any comments or questions from members of the board in the physical space? In the virtual space? Any comments or questions for Weed and Seed from members of the community audience? Online? Okay. Thank you, Officer Pagan. Stay safe, sir.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to Board Administration and Planning, we'll do a review of the regular meeting minutes from Thursday, March 13th. Does anyone have any corrections? If not, we will move forward. Okay. Okay, we'll move forward. Going to take a quick break here and look for a vote. We did have one of our presenters that will not be presenting tonight. The number 3 on the agenda, the Westlock Elderly Village Tenant Advisory Committee will actually be presenting next month. So we do have some time on the agenda, and we have a couple quick presentations that would like to present. I'd like to present that option for the board if anyone would want to make a motion. To swap, we're going to have to get rid of presentation number 4C. So we have 2 presenters here tonight that can fill in that space, that are not on the agenda. So yeah, so we would need a motion.
Yeah, I would move to include those tentative or those new presentations.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We'll do a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nay. Any abstentions? The motion is passed. Thank you, board. We will start with,
Chair,
yeah, what's up, Senator?
yeah, the 2 presentation, people that doing presentation, does that, immediately have an impact on the community that should have been, on the agenda previously, for community members to come and, input and give comment? We're not having a proper, notification. I don't think it's fair for the community that probably would want it had come out for the presentation.
Their informational updates, Senator.
Chair,
Yes,
to
Corey.
that point, could you just let us know what the 2 agenda items are? that will be
Yes,
on
one of them is the
presentations?
West wastewater pump station upgrade project. Again, it's informational, and the other one is a Red Hill update. We get a Red Hill update every month with Duna. Duna will actually be turning over, so it'll be a different person providing the update today.
Isn't that under the Navy's section anyway?
Yes, but they're going to give an updated presentation.
How is that
Sure.
different? Sorry.
We can ask the gentleman, if you could step up to the mic, sir.
I'm happy to go either way. But my name is Scott Malcolm. I'm with the Navy Closure Task Force, and I'm prepared to give a 6 to 10 minute informational update and take a few questions. But if it's a problem, that's fine too. But it's not the normal Navy update. This is really focused on what I'm here to do is focused on Navy Closure Task Force Red Hill. But Chief Jayan will give a Navy update.
Understood.
Chair.
Yes, Senator.
Yeah, so I would really advise, if he's gonna do an announcement under announcements or community, announcements, something to this magnitude should be on the agenda for public notice, so we can have people that is very concerned about Red Hill and the updates, and it should give them a chance to come to the board meeting and get the 10-minute. It's not a 1 minute or 2 minute or 3 minute. It's a 10-minute presentation. So I don't think that would be fair to the community who's concerned about Red Hill closure.
I absolutely agree. Thank you, Senator.
Okay.
I make a motion to remove that. Maybe we can ask the representative to put a program, a presentation for next month if possible.
Okay. We're just going to add the one. They got to remove the presentation. But Scott, you can present during the residents and community concerns. The 3 minutes you can present if you like then as well. It'll be a shorter version. It's up to 3 minutes, so you can present during that time as well. Okay, thank you. So move on to the aquaculture proposal, presentation 4A.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Neil Anthony Sims, and I'm the founder and CEO of Ocean Era. We've been proposing an offshore aquaculture project here off Ever Beach. We've had 3 presentations previously here to the board, so I want to just give a brief update this month and ask for the board's endorsement or some expression of support or otherwise, depending on your disposition towards this project, because the state has asked us for some reflection on the community sentiment towards this. So a little omiyage, not by any. I'm hoping to not be inappropriate, but I did bring some seaweed samples here, some limu samples, which is good.
Sir, could you speak into the microphone? We can't hear you unless you speak into the microphone.
Sorry. I did bring some limu samples here, just because sometimes people aren't familiar with the species that we are culturing. The sea grapes and the Lepiorhina, the green sea grapes and the red. Please feel free to, it is food grade quality. You can sample some of that if you like and pass it with around to the community. But I did want to just give a quick update here. I had presented a package at the last meeting to the board members, but this is also for the public here. Please, if you could click through the presentation. Now, part of what drives us here is this sense of the environmental imperatives for what we need to do. We as marine biologists figure the way that we can help with these global issues is to grow more limu and to grow more fish. And the best way we understand to grow more fish is to do it in the open ocean. Click through the next slide, please. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because the chair has asked that I do this in just 5 minutes. We have previously founded the offshore fish farm operation that was down in Kona that's been operating now for 20 years. It's operated now by Blue Ocean Mariculture. We ran it from 2004 through to 2009. That's producing the kampachi, which is known locally as the kahala, the wild fish. Next slide, please. We've also done demonstration projects in Kona out in federal waters, a unanchored drifter cage, and then another net pen that was moored in 6,000 feet of water. This was just to be able to pioneer, the goal here was to pioneer the permitting in federal waters and to be able to show the Kona fishing and boating community that this is actually going to be a great fish aggregating device. Next slide, please. We've also set up, founded an operation down in the Sea of Cortez in Mexico, again producing the kampachi there. That's now run by another company. That farm there was certified by the Aquaculture Stewardship Council, which is the most rigorous environmental and social standard for aquaculture operations. So we're very proud of that certification. The Kona operation is also now ASC certified. Next slide, please. So what we're proposing here forever is to be able to do an offshore farm site very close to where the Moi farm used to be, out offshore there. We'd be doing the Niue and Moi and Kampachi and Limu. The Niue we've been producing at research scale down in Kona, producing them in the hatchery. We really like this fish because it's an herbivore. It eats limu. You can feed it a tilapia diet and it tastes like a snapper. It's great for poke. Next slide, please. The Moi, most people are familiar with because of the farm that Randy Cates had operated out there previously. We think that's a really great fish with a very strong local demand, and there's really just not enough Moi, wild Moi out there to meet the demand. And we'd also like to be producing the Kampachi because the farmed Kampachi is a really great sashimi grade fish, and there's strong market demand for that here in Oahu. Next slide, please. And the Limu species that we would be culturing, we've been working on these at our facility in Kona. These are all native species that we would be growing. And the advantage of doing this next to the fish farm is if you were going to be growing limu out in offshore waters without the fish, there's just not enough nutrients there. But the shishi from the fish provides the nitrogen and the phosphorus for the limu, and that leads to really good limu growth, as we've been showing with some of our work in Kona. Next slide, please. We've got some of our products in the market already. We're selling fresh limu on the Big Island, and we're looking to build the market here on Oahu. And we're also working with Gina Y, who is through Okonokai, her company. We have in the market here in Oahu some of our limu in limu crackers and dried limu and in furikake. Next slide, please. So the proposal that we have here is to go and establish an offshore fish farm very close to where Randy had the Moi farm operation between 2009 and 2013. He was permitted there for 10 net pens for up to 1,000 tons, but that project went out of business in 2013. So there's been no farmed Moi from that operation since then. Next slide, please. So this is a wider view of the location. Pearl Harbor, it's about 2 miles out from the entrance of Pearl Harbor and about 2 miles out offshore. Next slide, please. The actual array here would be 12 net pens that would be in a grid. Most of the lease area would be just mooring lines because the net pens are in the center of that. The proposal that we've put to the state is that we go and do the first 6 pens over the first year, and then through the environmental monitoring, we'd wait until we got permission from the state to go and do the next 6 net pens there. Next slide, please. We're looking at 3 alternatives. The preferred alternative is just a little bit more Mackay from where Randy had his project. It's in about 70 meters, about 230 feet of depth, about 1.7 miles out offshore. There is the first alternative is to go a little bit deeper. We don't mind being a little bit deeper, but it means that the anchor spread is going to be a lot further. And so the actual area of the lease would be greater. And then there's another site further to the west. We could move further to the west, but that's getting closer to the mooring for the oil tanker array. Next slide, please. And then just by summary of this, we're a team that has done this before at a number of locations. The advantages of doing this offshore is that there's very minimal environmental or social impact. We're focusing on low trophic species and culturing the fish and limu together. By doing it in deep water, there's going to be minimal environmental impact. And we've shown this, the Kona operation for 20 years has had no significant impact on, it's just half a mile away from some really beautiful coral reef there in Kona. There's benefits here in terms of local food production, economic diversification and jobs. We've been speaking to the folk at Leeward Community College. They'd love to be able to have a pathway for aquaculture students to be actually go and work in aquaculture when they come through their program there. I'm also eager to set up, as we move closer towards the actual operations here, we'd like to set up an advisory panel. So we'd look to the community to guide us in that, please. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take questions. I also, if people want to have follow-up questions to me, my contact information is here on the last slide. Thank you. And also I have my business card sitting on the table over there if people want to take one of those and follow up with questions. We're really trying to make sure that we have full outreach to the community and that everyone's aware of this. So if there's somebody on the list there that you think that's not on the list that you think we should speak to, I'd be very grateful for their contact information. Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you, sir. I would like to point out that you got that done in a record time of 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Which I have to say is better than the 18-minute presentation you gave last time. So 5 minutes is a long stretch. Okay, no, but seriously, thank you for that enlightening presentation. And with that, well, we'll open it up for comments and questions from members of the board. Alex?
Thanks, Neil. I know we've corresponded a little bit via email, but obviously always on site is when the questions start to come to mind. So I kind of have three questions. And one is, so have you done studies on the prevailing currents and kind of what they're doing across the year? Because one of the initial things when you presented a couple of years ago was like the waste and where it's going. You know, I think if you have some studies showing kind of where the currents, the majority of the time in particular, are taking that waste or would push that waste at least a direction, that would help to visualize that it's not coming straight to the beach, right? And which I don't think it is, but I think that would be really helpful for your effort. Another thing is like you mentioned the Leeward Community College. You know, I think what it's going to be real interesting, and you're going to be in front of Eva Beach, that is like, what are the benefits locally here to the community, right? And like, I don't know what kind of benefits there could, maybe there could be a percentage of the people working the farm or from Eva Beach or something like that, something that is bringing benefits here so that there's going to be more support. I don't know how feasible that is. It's just to put it on your radar. And then my third thing is, you already know, because we corresponded about this a couple of years ago, like I prefer the deeper and the further west locales. And I think one of the reasons is I'm assuming that this operation is going to have some lights at night, right? And so, does it have lights at night that are seen on the surface?
It would have a surface presence, and Coast Guard would require that we have that as a flashing light. Yes.
And so I guess just one thing I think about is like, for people that live in the community, we prefer not to see a bunch of flash. I don't know how many. So again, what does that look like? I don't know. But like, if you push it further west and you put away from the community, then we're not, our horizon at night is not, obstructed with this new light that haven't been seeing for the last, forever.
Yeah.
So just thought for you, I don't know if you want to comment on
Yes, quickly, Chair, if I may, currents are longshore, so they're towards the west. That's from all the current studies that we've done that Randy had validated, but we would put a current buoy and a wave buoy out there before we actually deployed to get more data. In terms of community engagement, that's what we're looking for the community advisory panel to help us with. There's certainly going to be improved fishing. Randy had said that there was a lot of fishing around the site when he had the Moy farm out there, and that's something that fisher folk in Kona had enjoyed with the deeper projects that we'd had in Kona. In terms of lights, they look about the same as a fishing boat because it's just lights enough so that nobody runs into it. So if we'll have a surface presence there that will be marking the buoys, and that will mark if we have a feed barge out there, and that would be just the same as any other fishing vessel. But thank you very much, Alex,
Thank you.
for the question.
Questions? Mike?
Hi, thank you, Neil. Who's a target audience or a target market for the Fish and Limu? And just as a comment, if you'd like the support of the board, it might not be a bad idea to submit perhaps a suggested language for a resolution of support for us to introduce and deliberate on. But yeah, wondering who the target market is.
You, Michael, and everybody else in this room, and everybody in Oahu. Part of the challenge we had when we were doing the operation down in Kona was, Big Island's 180,000 people, and they're scattered all over. Here in Oahu, there's a large market and people that know their limu, know their moi and nanue. And so this is part of the reason why we want to see an offshore farm here, is because we know that there's infrastructure support, but there's also a very large market.
Okay.
And
any questions from other members here in the meeting space? Trey, I have you online. Corey, and then Trey.
So in order to do this, what federal or state departments do you need approval from? And if you've already in the process of doing this, what are some of the concerns that they've brought up in order to approve this?
Okay, we haven't yet formally engaged with them. We have had discussions backwards and forwards with OCCL from the state. But we have a draft EA that we're actually prepared to submit it's about 250 pages at the moment. So I'm happy to send a copy to the board and to the members of the board if you want to wade through that. It's an extensive review of all of the possible concerns that the state and federal agencies might have or that the community might have. And so this is why I'd like to hear from folk. If you have concerns, please do follow up business card over there. The permits that we need, it'd take me another 9 minutes to list all of the permits that we require. But there's extensive state and federal water quality monitoring, Army Corps, and the state permits as
I
well.
think it might be a good idea to, all of our email addresses are available online, so it might be a good idea to send it. I know Alex and Corey, they like to stay up at night reading stuff like that. Craig?
Yes, I have a comment and a question. My comment is just to say that I'm in strong support of this project. By day, I work at an economic research organization. We get questions all the time about economic diversification, what we can do. And aquaculture is far and away one of the most promising opportunities. It's a growth industry worldwide. We have a durable competitive advantage. We have a local market, and we could be a world leader, as you noted, through connections with educational institutions. So for all those reasons, and for the fact that it'd be great for local economic development and to eat local, I'm in support. My question is related to the export market. You mentioned local consumption on Oahu. Do you have any sense that you'd also be exporting any of this?
We've been in discussion, not for the Moi or the Nanue, because I think or the Limu, they're really strong local markets. The Kampachi, we've been in discussions with the company that now runs the Kampachi operation in Kona, and they would like to be able to have a production center here in Oahu as well, because then there's wide body airlift into the mainland. And so that's why we've proposing to be able to include the Kampachi in there as well. But the Moi, Nanue and Limu, we'd be looking pretty much exclusively at the local market, because they're the folk who are familiar with it. I wouldn't want to have to go and try and sell Moi or Limu to folk in California.
Thank you.
Craig?
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. So you want to give a formal ask of the board before you disappear?
Thank you. Yes, I think what the state is looking for is an expression of the community sentiment. So ideally for us, we would like to have the board's endorsement. And so a motion might be something along the lines of the board has reviewed this proposal and is supportive of this moving forward, and just perhaps at that, supportive of this project moving forward for the state and federal review process.
Okay, let's hear if any members of the community would want to weigh in on this before we have the board formally respond. Any members in the physical meeting space? Sir, ma'am, please come on up, state your name and smile.
Hello, Professor Kevin Tonganon. I had a question. I think it's an incredible idea, by the way, as a community member and resident of Pebble Beach. But my question was towards the end of your presentation, you mentioned minimum negative environmental impacts. Worst case scenario, what would those look like and how it would affect the community?
Thank you very much. That's a really good question, because we don't like to dwell on the worst case scenario, but we've got to look at what that would be. And based on the water quality monitoring and the other assessments on projects both in Mexico and in Kona, and there are other projects that have done offshore aquaculture in Panama is one that's been operating for over 30 years now, 25 years now. There's no impact on the coral or the water quality that's going to be significant, because it's out in really deep water and there's a lot of currents move through there. So the worst case scenario is the fish would escape, that something might happen. And that's not just the worst case scenario for the environment, it's a really worst case scenario for us, because there's a lot of money that's gone into those fish. And if they escape, generally what we've found in Kona is that folk catch a lot of Kampachi once they're on the outside, because
Nice.
they're the little chubby fat Kampachi running around looking for their next dinner, and they don't know what to do on the outside of a cage. And so fishermen clean up for a couple of days and then they're gone.
Nice.
But that's.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, you had a question? Please state your name.
Yes, I'm Grace Jackson. I'm a longtime resident of Ewa Beach, over half a century, and haven't been to a meeting in a long time.
Welcome.
But I am a volunteer at Waikiki Aquarium, and I do teach about things of this nature. And I totally am looking forward to some of your limu. I have some in my refrigerator. It's wonderful. And the thing of it is pollution, and not that you would be causing it. It's already there, and part of it is, I ate limu every single day here in Ewa Beach. People came all over to get their limu here in Ewa Beach. Limu grew here. This is limu place. And yet it's gone. It is almost every once in a while I find some, but it's mostly gone, and it was so abundant. And somehow this was at the same time we got our sewer system changed with a sewer place, but I know we got something coming about the sewer that went out there. And I know that there were ones that were planting limu out there to try to, get it to come back again. It was not successful. And, but I would wish this project a wonderful, result, because your product is fabulous, But yeah, it's concerning. And when you think about what the Hawaiians did with the fish ponds, okay, all around these islands, they were successful. Okay, and I know there are some that are being done also, and I think I would like to see more of that also. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your comments. Final comments from the board, members of the board? Oh, I'm sorry. I have one more community member online. Tara?
Aloha, Tara Rojas. I am in opposition. Quick version, your environmental assessment, the study is from 2021. This is 4 years later. We already, we gave a testimony, that is just no. The conditions and have changed with one, the pollution of the lead in the area of Ewa Beach from the military shooting. Two, with the sewer. I just got this today regarding the sewer system. They're gonna need the extended hours because they didn't finish the sewer treatment system right out here. And when they had the sewer break, right there, Pu'uloa was where they dumped off, the 24/7 pumping, the extra, of the sewage, and of course they're gonna release it later outside. You add this on, that's gonna add to it. Now, yes, like what the other community member just said, Ewa Beach it's the motherboard of limu. So, which is gone now because of all the developments, that are approved, and with things that shouldn't be there now there because of economic. So those who are going to support, you're going to find that it's because for economic reasons. For those who are against, it's for cultural and intrinsic indigenous knowledge. So I'm saying no to this. And finally, because we don't want to open a Pandora's box by allowing you in and seeing how we're on Kona, where it's at, to become right in front of Ewa Beach. Then who else, what else is going to be allowed in there? So yeah, so I just want to say that, and mahalo, and this, just mahalo. So no.
Mahalo. Thank
no.
you, Tara. Okay, final comments from the board? Alex?
Yeah, so I think I would make a motion or I think what Corey said about a resolution would be really good, Neil. I have templates. I think the best formal way to support would be for us to really evaluate is to do a short resolution. I have a template I can send with you, and we could, if you're willing, we could put it together. My motion would be to do that, and then maybe at the next board meeting we can vote on it or something. That would be a thought.
That's a motion. I second it.
Okay, Mike. Do you have a specific time frame in mind, Neil, that you need this by?
I was this is the one thing that I'm waiting to submit the draft EA. And so I was hoping to be able to do that with this meeting here. And I'd come online at the last meeting to give notice that we wanted to go and move forward with an endorsement at this meeting. So I want it, rather than a formal resolution, a motion of endorsement for the concept for offshore aquaculture and willingness to engage in this process as we move forward with the permitting.
Susan?
I would be more comfortable after I read the draft EA personally.
Sure, the draft EA is, the formal draft EA is what we'll submit after we got your notification. But if you would prefer, I can send the draft as we have it at the moment to the entire board. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you very much.
And we can sidebar with Alex afterwards as well. Thank you. No, we're gonna delay. She picked that up. Okay. Yes. Okay. Since there was a motion and it was seconded, I think we have to actually vote on it. The motion was to create a resolution, and this is the second time tonight you've pulled back the support, Susan. So, yes, Corey.
There's no language to the motion.
Well, Alex made a motion of support to make a resolution, to work with the gentleman for a resolution next time.
Yeah, but to
So we
clarify,
could just
to
do a
clarify
statement.
that the gentleman didn't want to do it either, so.
Well, he wanted a statement of support, which basically would be a voice vote in support of this project. But Susan said that she wanted to read the draft EA first.
Okay. So Chair,
Yes, Corey.
I move to table the motion till next meeting.
Okay. I'm waiting on a second. Can you use the mic, Susan?
Yes, I second that.
Thank you, Susan. So it has been voted that we shall table it until the next meeting. Neil, good to go? But we'll sidebar afterwards. Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, I pulled back, as you said, because I didn't know the Red Hill presentation was going to be 10 minutes.
I understand. I understand. Okay. Moving on to the next presentation.
You guys have to take a look around, and I'm very upset. I'll tell you why. I raised my hand earlier there, and I have a right to speak.
We're going to take a quick recess, ladies and gentlemen.
Right
Thank
now.
you. Okay. At 8:05, we will resume the meeting. Back in session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now on to the second presentation of tonight. The cluster development at Pohakapuna by Hawaii Engineering Group.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, and the members of the community, thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to present tonight. My name is Roy Ure from Hawaii Engineering Group, representing the owners of the property, Golden Lion Ewa Beach LLC. The reason why I'm here today is to share with you the project that is being proposed over, and it's not working. Can you click it? Yeah. The next slide. There's a proposed project over in Pohakapuna Road. And the map, is it picking up? Oh, presentation. Huh? Yeah, it is on presentation mode.
From beginning on the top left.
Okay.
Sorry.
Please continue. No.
It's
Well,
going to impact my 9 minutes. No.
I'll give you an extra 8 seconds. How's that?
Yeah, thank you. Okay. The slide, the photos here, the red block indicates the parcel that is being proposed. And there was a photo on the lower bottom. Oh,
Well, the picture improved.
yeah. I don't have enough hair to. We lost the file. Yeah. Oh, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, these are the rules and ordinances that the project needs to comply with. And so far, we're working towards in the compliance of all the HRS and ROH chapters that relates to the coastal high hazard areas, shoreline properties, and shoreline setback. Next slide, please. And these are the permits that is required for this project also. So not just building permit, but there's also grading permit and also water permit, erosion controls, and noise permits. So all those permits are going to be addressed and in compliance with the project. Next slide, please. So the lot here is within the flood zone D, which requires any kind of development where the structure needs to be addressing the base elevation of 12 feet, while the sea level is about 3.24 or 1 meter below grade. So that means that the project needs to be elevated probably about at least 6 feet. Meaning the structure is going to be elevated. You know, I give credit to the owners here because initially the project that was being looked at, they were proposing to backfill the land and raise it and elevate it. That since then have been changed. That would never be done. What they were doing, proposing it now, is reducing the number of dwelling units or the structures to be developed on the property, in addition to eliminating the soil backfill. That's what that means is that it has been substantially reduced, or the impact to the area has been substantially reduced. Next slide, please. This is sea level rise. Now, you know, all permits that's we're within the shorelines. We need to look into the shoreline sea level rise potential impacts. So the property needs to be elevated so that it addresses any potential sea level rise in the future. Next slide, please. And the shoreline change rate too is also being considered. Fortunately, the areas in this area, there's no white hash marks indicate the areas within the Ewa Beach with no hash line means that there has been no erosion occurring for the past few years. Next slide, please. And now this is the proposed site plan. What the owners are proposing to do is, like I mentioned earlier, they reduce the number of structures from 21 structures and multifamily to 15 single-family dwelling units. So it has been cut back substantially. Next slide, please. This is a rendering of what the structures that's going to be on the ocean side of the property. These are the two-story unit structures. Next slide, please. And this is the elevation from the east and west plane, view plane. Next slide, please. The other units are C and D, no, B and C units. And these units, there are about combined 12. 6 of these C units here is being proposed, which are just a single-story, single-family dwelling units. Next slide, please. And this is the B unit, C units, and these are also being considered, being proposed as being single family, single story dwelling units. Next slide, please. And what this slide shows, the project is not impacting the current shoreline access or public access to the beaches. Besides that, the owner is also proposing along the shore area is to design and dedicate a park to be shared with the community. Right. So in summary, what I'm saying is that the proposed project because it's drastic change from the initial proposed plan, based on the environmental conditions and also the socially, culturally, and the community. I give credit to the owners because, there's some, quite a bit of meetings have been done to, a few of the neighbors within the area that's been impacted within that parcel. And, there's quite a bit of time, and we took some of the feedback from the community and incorporated into this revised plan. So, I give credit to the owners for the action they took on that. Right. That's my presentation. Thank you. Oh yeah, the layout, the site plan. Can you go back to the site plan? Yeah.
Questions from members of the board? We'll start with Alex.
Yeah, so these are the single story.
Hold up.
units
So
here.
thanks for the presentation, and obviously I'll be curious to hear the neighbors. I know a lot of them are present here. Can you clarify the whole 12-foot, 6-foot? So are these pier and post to meet the requirements, or it's going to be filled, just so we're all clear and it's transparent? What are we talking about here to meet those?
Yeah, okay. We've been transparent about everything. And the BFE is in order to meet the flood requirements. The BFE, which stands for base flood elevation of 12 feet, meaning that in order to meet the flood zone requirement, the building needs to, the plans need to show that they're above the base flood elevation. And
So how are you going to get to that? That's my question. I understand that. So how are you
so
going to get to that?
the dwelling units are going to be elevated on stilts, posts on pier. Those are the construction that they're looking at.
Okay.
Mitch, did you have a follow-up question?
Wanted to know you said the park is along the ocean side, so where those 3 units are, those the C units?
Which
Two-story
unit?
units on the far right. Yeah, those are the C units.
No, those are single
Eh,
family dwelling
okay.
story units.
And then the park is on the right side.
Yeah, on the right side of that.
Okay.
Yeah, along the beach.
Corey? I'm sorry, Mitch, were you Paul?
What steps have you taken to reach out to the community other than today to get their input on this plan?
Well, we met with a few of the adjoining property owners. For example, some of them are here. And sought their feedback, and they went out to try and gather the other neighbors to come back and provide their feedbacks.
And what has their response been so far?
Their response so far, they're in support of it.
Hold on.
Any other questions from members of the board in the physical meeting space? Mitch?
So being that the park is along the ocean side and along Pu'akapuna, when you get the king tides, a lot of the soil, coral get washed out. So are you guys gonna backfill or anything to do at the park side, on the park area side? I'm just saying, or put a wall, or is anything gonna go up there?
No, there's no plan for any wall currently. There's a plan to have some fencing installed.
Okay. Any other questions from other members of the board in the meeting space? Okay, moving online, members of the board, Jana?
I just wanted to say thank you for the presentation. I think the renderings actually help give a good idea to the community that the designs are more sensitive to what the architectural landscape looks like. In my opinion, I think it actually blends a lot more than before. So I appreciate the effort on the developer's part on that. One comment I did just want to make as we move forward with the plans, and since we were talking about the park being on the beach side, I just wanted to make a note for the developer if it's something that you would be able to take back is, I think we would hope that measures aren't done in the future to prevent public access to the shoreline as well as to the park. I know right now it's shown in plan that there's no barriers or anything, and I think that's great. I just want to keep like this momentum that we still remain respectful to the community's opinions on their opinions during this development process, and then that it's also continued afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. Any other comments from members of the board online? No? Okay. Moving on to community members in the physical meeting space. Any comments, questions, statements? Popcorn.
Last time. Most of you know me, know I was the most vocal opponent of the initial plan.
For the record.
For the record, evidenced by the fact I painted my roof.
No, I mean your name for the record, sir.
Kenny Leo, you should know that already. Could have done it for me. You know, the developer and Roy, they came out, they met with community members. Jed had come out earlier, the developer. They listened to our concerns. They listened to us rant and rave about the flooding and the raising the grade, that it was way too dense for our community, that Pohakapuna Road is an unimproved road. It's only 20 feet wide on record, but we measured it, Mike and I. It's 19 feet wide in many areas. For reference, I live on a private lane. My lane is 20 feet wide. There's traffic now. We flood now. You know, we have all these problems. The sewer is very suspect. They listened. They designed a project that looks like our surrounding community. I have several hundred, or probably, my emails probably reached 300 people. Nobody really complained. And anybody that understood and followed along didn't complain because they understood. The only people that complained were people that don't know what the hell's going on. So, you know, we met, no complaints. Tim, you want to say anything? And so we back it.
Tim Lee, resident on Pupu Street. I just wanted to say that, yes, you know, Kenny and I both mostly Kenny, led the movement to oppose the cluster development over the past several years. Started website, signs all over the neighborhood. And I think the one thing that was missing early on in the process was the lack of communication and coordination between developers and the community. And over the past few years, that's something that has thankfully occurred. They listened to our primary concerns, which were impact on infrastructure due to the large density that they were originally proposing, the effects of raising the grade on flooding of the neighboring properties, and fitting into the community with, you know, multi-unit homes and things like that. And so we're thankful from the community's perspective for the developer being able to accommodate those requests. And I think it was just initially what the previous representative that they had was kind of pushing them not to engage with the community. And since then, we've had consistent engagement and our concerns have been addressed. And so I am in support. Thank you.
Awesome. Excellent. Did you have any, I'm sorry, more comments?
Yes, my name is Jay Garcia. I'm also a resident, actually with Kenny and some of the others. Respectfully, Kenny and others have done a lot of work, and I think that there has been some improvements. I don't believe still that represents not a cluster. If you see those lots from where we currently have and what they're proposing, that would still be almost double the amount of homes down in that area. Additionally, I don't think the owners have shown good faith. If you go down there now, kind of addressing your problem, overgrown onto our fences. We've made requests, we've made calls, and we've got nothing done to keep the overgrowth happening, which is it's a fire hazard. We've had some open fires out there. If you're not familiar with the area, there's folks fishing there 24/7 every day right in front of our houses. We love it. Those are our community members, our friends. No one disputes or or has a problem with that. But there are open fires and sometimes we have to take, we have to call the fire department or take measures in our own hands to prevent our houses from burning down. So, and the last thing, and again, this is not hateful or anything, but I still think it needs to be pointed out. This is the owners of the land are international. This is not, so where does this money go to? It's not going to go to our neighborhoods. So who does it help? It's not helping Americans, and it's definitely not helping Ewa Beach to have this community being built by foreign investors. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, sir. Don't forget to smile.
Will do. Mike McGurn. I live right across from the project that we're talking about right now. We have met with the owner and the developer, and they have been very, very understanding with us with our concerns. They have looked at plans, they have changed plans, and all the people that did attend the meetings with the owner and the developer were very surprised at how accommodating they were. I don't think there was anything that was not addressed. They have lost a lot of money with their new plan. And I don't think we have a right to limit, which we don't have a right to limit the potential that they can get. But they have seeded this, and it is a good plan. I am right across the street from this plan. And I have to support them because they've done a wonderful job of listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Any other comments from the community? Yes, sir. Don't forget to smile.
Melvin Amaral. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
I just like to say this. Living in Ewa Beach for a long time. If Kenny says it's okay, it's okay. I'm forward with it.
Mahalo. Appreciate you. Okay. Sure, Alex.
So I just want to say, like, Kenny and the whole team over there, you guys did a really good job. I want to recognize that also the developer, like there might still be some issues. I just want to recognize like that whole process for me as a board member. I've been here like 7 years now. Like it's one of the best kind of community organizations and then meeting and that whole thing. I just want to acknowledge it as being a really good process, even though there might still be some issues out there. I just want to recognize that. I'm proud of our community for that.
Sir, did you have any comments? Please state your name.
So to introduce myself, my name is Jed. I'm the developer of this property. I don't think I can answer that much question tonight, but I'm willing to leave my email address somewhere here. So anybody who has any concerns can send me an email and we can grab coffee or beer or anything.
Scotch?
Yeah, so I'll be, that's better. So I'll be in touch. So like, let me know about any like overgrowns or anything I can do for the community. I'll try to work with anybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mahalo. As we wrap this topic up, on behalf of the community, as the chair of this board, I've been on this board for 10 years, and we've seen a lot of changes in our community over the last decade, over the last 20 years, over the past 30 years. And in this current, I'll say, acrimonious political climate that we're in, it is rarefied air when we can all sit back and say, we did something together. I remember when we first had this meeting regarding this project, and there were a lot of unhappy people here, as it's been said, on both sides. But since that time, the developer and the residents have made significant progress to the point that maybe not everyone's happy. But I'm very impressed by the fact that, as one of the gentlemen alluded to, that actual profit was given up in the name of community. I mean, that, as we know, the developers that have run roughshod over some parts of Hawaii, that's really hard to come by. It's been said that, when both sides are unhappy, that's when you know you're doing your job. I think that's a cynical way to look at things. I think we all treat each other with what I say is full aloha. I always ask people, where can you get aloha? Where can you be guaranteed to get it? When you give it. And this is a case where everyone gave a little bit of aloha. So on behalf of the board and the community and our residents, I think we all deserve to give ourselves and each other and the developer and the residents a big round of applause.
I'd like to just thank you very much for allowing us the opportunity to be here today.
Mahalo, sir. Appreciate you. Yes. And with that, we'll move on to our third and final presentation of the night, the Westlock Estates Wastewater Pump Station Upgrade Project. It's a tough act to follow, that's all I'm going to say. You have 18 minutes. No, just joking, 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair Clark, members of the Neighborhood Board and the community for allowing us to present the proposed Westlock Estates Wastewater Pump Station Upgrade Project. My name is Colette Sakota. I'm the planner on the consulting team for this project, and the project sponsor is the City and County of Honolulu Department of Environmental Services. Is it better? Okay. ENV is a sponsor. Also here tonight are Paul Gamble of ENV and June Nakamura, the Principal Consulting Project Engineer of Kaula AE. Next slide, please. The project site is the existing wastewater pump station, which is located in the parking lot of Kapapapuhi Point Park, also known as Westlock Community Shoreline Park. This site is at the Mauka edge of the city's special management area on land owned by the City and County of Honolulu. Because of this location, the proposed upgrade project is undergoing a Chapter 343 environmental assessment review and a special management area use permit process. Next slide, please. During a scheduled engineering evaluation in 2023, several environmental and building code issues were identified. This is a 36-year-old wastewater pump station whose electrical room and building are located above the wet well, which is a wastewater storage containment. Existing above-ground storage tank is too close to the pump station. The concrete masonry wall has ADA compliance issues and restricts access to the generator room and removal of the generator. And the pumps, valve, and piping are aging. Next slide. These are some of the engineering and design upgrades proposed to bring the pump station into compliance. They include relocating the emergency generator and day tank into a newly constructed generator room attached to the existing building, relocating the electrical motor control center and supervisory control and data acquisition system into the existing generator room to provide a separate electrical room away from the wet well, creating an open breezeway within the existing pump station building by removing portions of the north and south walls of the building and adding security mesh screening. These changes would be done by enlarging the pump station site by pushing the north and east walls outward. The enlarged site will allow more room to properly operate and maintain the pump station, including providing dedicated parking area for maintenance vehicles, as well as protecting the public from wastewater maintenance operations. Right now, there are about 70 parking stalls within the park. While 2 parking spaces will likely be eliminated due to these planned improvements, the parking lot will be restriped, and this should result in a minimal impact to the public parking available. Overall project cost is approximately $4.4 million, This project is designated a utility installation type A, which is a necessary permitted use in all zoning districts. Next slide, please. This is a slight draft site plan, which includes these among the related upgrades. The existing 2,300 square foot site would be expanded by about 1,700 square feet to a total of 4,000 square feet. So the shaded area on the site plan constitutes 4,000 square feet. Next slide, please. These are several of the other improvements deemed necessary, which includes water system improvements, replacing the restroom facilities in the pump station site, installing an above-ground double-walled fuel storage tank, thereby reducing the tank size from the standard minimum 1,000 gallons to a 500-gallon tank. The parking lot site improvements includes constructing a new trash enclosure. In the lower photo, the trash enclosure is to the right of the building, so that'll be rebuilt. Next slide, please. So here's where the project is at this phase of the pre-development process. Next slide. Pre-assessment notices were sent out to the neighborhood board, members of the community, and public agencies. And we have published a draft environmental assessment in the state of Hawaii's environmental notice. The 30-day comment period was between January 23rd to February 24th. Studies conducted and included in the EA are hazardous materials assessment, trees assessment report, archaeological literature review and field inspection, a cultural impact assessment, and geotechnical recommendations report. Besides the notifications, adjacent residents to this site were sent notices of this meeting. So some of them may be here, I'm not sure. As I mentioned earlier, a special management area permit will be submitted, and included in this process is a DPP and City Council approval. So public comments will be a part of this part of the process as well. The Department of Environmental Services will continue to keep the community informed as the project progresses. The next slide. Thank you very much. And at the bottom of this last slide is contact information for the project engineer and ENV, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any comments or questions from members of the board in the physical meeting space? Corey?
I noticed you'll be putting in a new diesel engine. How does that compare sound-wise to the current infrastructure there?
Wonder if June might be able to answer that question.
Diesel engine is for the standby generator, which is not part of the pump. This pump station is a submersible pump station, one of very few in the city and county. City and county does not normally have this. This is a smaller pump station. It's a terminal pump station. So it's submersible. The pumps and motors are inside the wet well. So normally it's very quiet. The residents cannot hear any of this, the motors running. And so the only diesel is your new standby generator, which they do exercise once a month to make sure that if the power does go down in the station, they have backup generator power. So that's all it's for.
Follow-up, Chair.
Yes.
Just a quick question. How long, once you get approval, will it take to build? How long? Yeah.
construction's estimated to take 10 months but the funding is not available for another year. So basically you won't see construction start to maybe 2027, beginning of 2027. I'm looking at Paul because I got to make sure I'm safe. Yeah. So right now we're still in design phase. We'll probably finish the design by the end of the year and then go out to bids. And then it takes them at least 6 months after bidding and award to even and get the funding to even. So we're talking another year and a half. But yeah, and and this pump station only serves the West Lock Estate community, and that's it. It's a really small station.
Okay. Any other questions from other members? Mitch?
When you said it serves West Lock, so this pumps it to Honolulu?
Eventually, yes, it pumps into a force main that eventually ends up at Honolulu. Honolulu.
Does it run 24/7?
Our pump station?
Yes.
No, it's only servicing the residential community right in that area. So basically, I mean, during the day when there's nobody there, there's not that much wastewater generated, so our pumps go on and off.
Okay.
And at night, it works a little harder during the peaks when residents use it for, for run showers and facilities.
Any other questions from members of the board in the physical meeting space? Seeing none? Members of the board online? Seeing none? Any questions or comments from members of the community in the physical meeting space? Yes, sir.
Oh, Vinambra. Hello, I got a question. So I know you folks were talking about the pump stations and you talked about the diesel is just a backup, am I correct? Okay, so I know quite a few about diesel. My uncle was a diesel mechanic, but I also study mechanical engineering too. So I know a lot about diesel technology. So I seen that on the picture that depicts the building, if I'm not mistaken, that building actually has a wall around it. So the pump would be inside, right? So the wall actually acts as a sound barrier too. So the thicker, the better. So my question is, the other pump, is that electric? Awesome. So, you folks did a great job. I love architectural engineering too. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies. Okay, moving on to the next section, our favorite section of the night, residents and community concerns and community announcements. Beginning with, well, the directions, limited to 3 minutes per report. Follow-up questions and answers and comments are limited to 1 turn per person. Beginning with Hunt Communities. I believe I saw Tony. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tony. Residents community concerns. But, if you have a community concern, that's right, Alex. Limited to 1 turn, 2 minutes per person. Comments to public safety and government officials should be addressed in the following section. Any residents and community concerns? I apologize. Tara?
Daniel.
Okay, yeah, okay, aloha.
Tara, can you mute the background noise, please?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so
Thank
Tara
you.
Rojas, just wanted to say, my concern again is it seems that this community, I guess the board, is reactive instead of preventative. So going back to the Kai and the contamination and what's going to happen, I just came from the Kahaluu Neighborhood Board, and I want to just express my experience there was just welcome to speak. They asked questions back. They immediately understood the concerns of the culture and they even themselves mentioned Evie from the board. My concern is this: Native Hawaiian Kanaka Maoli subsistence gatherers of crabs in the area of Waiahole, they can't crab anymore because of the contamination of the water, like the sewer flowing to the ocean. And they said it just takes like a sewer. And because of other issues going on there as well, like even in the Kai, they really cannot even eat the crab anymore. So you can imagine now on that side, can I even crab? So what's going to happen when this is here, by the time it's set up, and if you look in the chat, somebody's asking about what's the effect about the other marine life, the lights and everything. And like I told you all, just look up Kona side where the ocean area is. I went there in person. You really kind of access, because it's a whole hub for all of these industries and businesses to do their things in the ocean to make money off of it, not for subsistence. So people are like literally, you cannot go there because it's a business area now. And again, the quality of what you're eating, you cannot eat. You know, I mean, for example, like in Waiahole, Kalamai. So be preventative, have the indigenous Ike mindset, not only to make money, yeah? Because you see, there's no limu anymore, and that's the building block of life. And I really hope that, you know,
Tara.
just give the courtesy when you're listening to people again. So mahalo. By the way, we got agendized for the next meeting. So they wanted to hear more of what we had to say. So
Thank you,
mahalo.
Tara. Appreciate it. Any other comments from members of the community online? Seeing none? Okay, that was a very. Oh, okay. We have an announcement from Susan from the board.
Yes, thank you. I know it's April, but I volunteered to do our Christmas tree for Eva Neighborhood Board. So I am asking for volunteers, especially this wonderful woman here, to give me ideas about the limu and how I have some old pictures of how Eva used to look with, you know, pu'uloa, different fish ponds. I was going to have this as the garland. So, and Tara, I would love to have you as well working with me. So I'm just looking for pictures and stories and people who knew what Eva looked like back in the day. And I would like that as the subject of our Christmas tree. So mahalo. I will put, if anybody wants to put their contact information, I will put this over there for them to sign up. Mahalo.
Thank you. That's awesome. And following on the dovetailing on what Tara said, being proactive, it's an excellent example of being proactive. Last year, we were approached by Couple A to join in their Christmas tree celebration, and they asked us at the end of November, I think it was. So that was kind of late because, as you know, these meetings are monthly, so it wasn't something that we could kind of join in on and do. So thank you, Susan.
I apologize, I didn't explain. So at the Kapolei Satellite City Hall is where they have Christmas trees, and different organizations, Board of Water, different neighborhood boards have their own tree. And that is where we would be, what we would be making this for. And I just think that would be really nice to show whatever used to look like. Mahalo.
We could do it at Christmas in July too. Just want to say that. Okay, now we shall move on to other monthly reports, starting with Hunt Communities. Thank you, Tony.
Absolutely. Good evening, members of the board, members of the community. I'm Tony Gaston from the Hunt Companies, and you know, because FDR's open now, Roosevelt's open, access going both ways, everything's going good. I really don't have that much to talk about tonight. So are there any questions from anybody?
Questions from members of the board? Mike?
I was driving by just the other day and I saw him digging up the road and pulling bricks, and what's going on?
That is good question. That is a paved drain system, and it was installed to collect drainage water from the road. And that water just seeps into the ground, and then the ground just absorbs it. We didn't have to put in all this additional drain pipe and everything underneath. But what happened was when they put in the paved drain, it moved a little. So they're just straightening things out again.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions from members of the board in the physical space? Any questions from members of the boards online? Seeing none. Members of the community? Yes, sir.
Melvin Omro, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. I'm
Tony.
Tony, how are you? I just had a question, and it actually retained to, they're talking about homes that were going to be built by the Barbers Point area, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, those homes are being built by Gentry Homes. That's
Those are Gentry?
yes.
Oh, okay. So you just keep clarifying that where it's from Gentry.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So correct me too. So if I'm not mistaken, That particular homes you were talking about, that's in the same area though, right? Where that land from the state government, right? In Barbers Point area.
The land that Gentry's building their homes on is land that they obtained from Hunt,
Oh,
which
okay.
was obtained from the transaction with the Navy.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. I will email you. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
Moving on, Gentry Homes update. Is there a member for Gentry Homes? Bueller?
Yes.
Oh,
Hi.
okay.
Sorry, Chair. Apologies. No, my video is not working tonight. Um, but
Well,
yes, no major updates since last month, but I'm happy to do a quick recap of the email I sent. So Gentry was able, and apologies, this is in regard to USTA and the Holomua. Is it okay if I discuss that, Chair?
please, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Just a quick recap. So Gentry sold land to USTA in the last quarter of 2024. USTA is crafting their draft plans for their new tennis facility. And if people are interested in learning what that looks like, we had them present to us as well. They'd be happy to come and talk to the board, and I'm happy to coordinate that or put you in touch with them. And we are continuing to work with the DOE to finalize 2 deals to transfer the remaining land over to them. And I guess I'm happy, but a little bit sad for us at Gentry is we're selling our last home in our Eva community, and so that will wrap up our apologies, our work in the area. And that's all from me, Chair. So thank you very much.
Questions from members of the board? Mitch?
Just any update on the Geiger Road, Kamakana Street light?
Yes, no major movement on that from the previous time. We're still in the comment and editing period back and forth between the city and ourselves.
Can you elaborate on what that entails?
Yes, no problem. So we submitted our plans with the traffic light, et cetera, and then it goes through various departments within DPP, other organizations, et cetera, who need to comment. And then they send the comments to us, and then we work to address them with them. We send them back. If there's any additional comments, they work on it. I don't believe there's any formal timeline, like with other processes. They have like X days to comment. So it's been just a longer process for this, which just a longer process for a simple traffic light.
You, Paul Mitchell? I do want to kind of expand the comment on this right quick. I'd like to go back to the original reason why we asked for the city and county and Gentry Homes to look at that. It's because there was a death at that intersection. 2 deaths. Thank you. There were 2 deaths there. So I understand that, you know, these things take time and they can be done over an extended period of time. But let's keep that in mind that we are doing this to prevent additional deaths.
Yes, no, of course.
Okay,
Those are, yes.
if you could convey that to the partners at Gentry as well as the city and county, that the Eva Neighborhood Board has expressed a keen interest in moving this along in a much more expedited fashion.
Yes, no, thank you. And we've met with other representatives too in the area to just, of course, impress upon the importance of this. And we will on ourselves to work as well to expedite it on our end too. So we will express that. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to Haseko Homes. Haseko? Bueller? No Haseko Homes rep? Okay. DR Horton Opili update. Seeing none in the physical space. Anyone online from DR Horton? Seeing none? Moving on to 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps.
Good evening. Hello, community board. So two big updates from last month. There's some questions about suppressors and the berm. So we we got the suppressors in, and so we're currently making an implementation plan to get those up and running. Kind of like to debunk any misinformation. They're not silencers, right? But they do suppress the report of the rifle by about 1,000 times. So that'll affect the annual calls that we do, and that's the bulk of our training operations. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll have more to follow once we have that plan set up. And then the berm, the 30% plan has been complete. So they're going to move into the next phase of development for that. So big, that's like the planning part, and I think funding as well. So any questions?
Questions from members of the board? Mike?
Can you clarify, is that the retreat of the berms? Charlie through?
No, it's the berm next to Bravo Range, so close to the community side, is to extend it further so it's blocking more of the report, like the noise. Let's make the berm longer so it'll help block more sound.
In which direction? Sorry.
West, I believe. I mean west.
So you're lengthening the berm?
Yes.
The one that runs horizontal to
So
the.
it would affect westward noise.
But the berm that runs along the shoreline is
No.
going to be
Not that
the one perpendicular to the shoreline.
Correct. Yes.
It's going to be
It goes
raised,
alongside,
so it's going to be raised higher.
longer.
I'm a little confused.
I can bring a diagram of it next.
That'd be great. Suppressors. Here's where my comment from last meeting would have made a difference. Had you guys actually sampled the sound, you could actually measure how much the sound was reduced in the neighborhood by using the suppressors. But because all you guys did was model, we won't know. That's just a comment. Sorry. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Alex?
Yeah, thanks for that. Glad to hear some. So yeah, if you, I guess when you said the berm thing, like you said it like we know what you're talking about, and none of us do. So I just wanted to clarify that. Like, so if you could if you're able to come next time and you maybe just put up something on the screen to explain what you're talking about, that would be super helpful, just so we're aware. Because I thought, when we had mentioned last time, I was imagining, or what I was suggesting was like, hey, maybe you can raise it so then it blocks more noise. So I'm curious on how lengthening it does, like, where's the strategy and like familiarizing us with
Yeah,
that
I'll
would
bring
really help.
some supporting documents for that.
Any other questions or comments from members of the board in the physical space? Seeing none? Members of the board online? Okay. Members of the community, questions? Yes, sir. Please step up to the mic.
John Lehi. That range been there for a long time before a lot of these people here. So is there a complaint about the noise? Is that what you're reporting?
That's what these solutions would be addressing. Yes.
So with the suppressor, that's supposed to reduce the noise
Yes.
when firing.
Yes.
Usually the noise of the firing starts where the.
So the actual report of the rifle will be reduced.
Oh, that's weird. Because when it's wartime, it doesn't matter.
Well, actually, at least the Marine Corps Infantry has been outfitted with suppressors across the entire
do that
infantry.
in the field?
It does two big things. One, it helps kind of reduce your signature, so that way, the enemy doesn't pinpoint you quite as much. But it also enables them to communicate with each other a lot better.
The more you know. Okay. Any other residents in the physical space? Yes, sir.
Melvin Omro. It's an honor to have someone from the United States Marine Corps here. I got a question. If you can brief me earlier. So you folks were talking about the rifles that the U.S. Marines use. I haven't been updated on the type of rifles they use right now in the Marine Corps, especially in the 21st century. Would you be able to tell me which types of rifles you folks use?
Yes, of course. M16s, M4s, and M27s.
Okay.
Which are obviously a bunch of numbers and letters, but
Mhm.
semi-automatic small arms, 5.56,
Oh,
which is the round type.
Thanks. So that M27?
Yes.
Oh, that's a long range rifle.
It has an effective range of about 800 meters.
Okay, is that semi-auto or is that bolt action?
It is a semi-automatic and fully automatic.
Nice. Okay.
It's yeah, it can go full auto.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I wanted to ask more questions, but at this time, I'll resume. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you here.
Thank you. Okay, with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, United States Navy. MCC, you're up.
That's how I could reach. That's nice. Good evening, Chair, board members, and community. I am Chief Jose Jaen. That is spelled Jose Jaen, and I appreciate the opportunity for me to share with you this evening, a couple minutes here. Kicking off with our weekly Molelo. This is our Region Hawaii's weekly newsletter. If you're not on that distro and would like to be, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to have you there. It comes out every Wednesday afternoon around 12 o'clock, no later than 12:30. So please let me know on that. Shipboard tours. Last Saturday, we hosted the Pearl City Neighborhood Board. They seemed excited before and after the tour, so I'll take that as a success and a win. So if you're interested and you have a group that would like to attend, let us know. We'll be happy to do that. Again, it's Saturday mornings. You'll be out of there by 11 o'clock. Get there like around 8:45. Any questions on that, please let me know. That's a great opportunity, by the way, to interact with sailors, see what sailors do, short of going out to sea, what they do on the ships, day in, day out. Community Whiteboard Tour, that's on April 22nd. If you're interested and you have a group, please let us know. We'll get you on there. On the 19th of April, our service members from the installation will be volunteering with the community for the bike path cleanup. So we'll be excited to be there and, share some time with you all again. Additionally, I'm happy to report that for Lolima 2025, we're upward 122 acts of community service. This is, of course, a culmination of our 250th birthday in October. I would like to reiterate, however, that this is the highlighting of these events. This is nothing new. The Navy has volunteered with the communities for years. This is just highlighting it, letting people know, hey, this is what we're doing. And pending any questions, that is all I have, at least for tonight.
Thank you for that brief. Any questions or comments from members of the board in the physical space? Seeing none. Comments or questions from members of the board online? Seeing none. Questions or comments from members of the community in the physical space? Seeing none. Questions or comments from members online? Seeing none. Thank you. Go Navy.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I don't have one for this except HUA. United States Army, are you in the house? Online? Seeing none? HUA. Okay, moving on to U.S. Representative Ed Case quarterly report. It's Nestor online. Okay. Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative. Anyone online?
Hi, good evening, Board Chair Clark and board members. Mark Yonamine representing Mayor Blangiardi. I'll take any questions.
Oh. Any questions from members of the board? Yes, Mitch.
Just if the mayor can push and help Gentry get that light up by Geiger and Kamakana Street.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a DPP for a while and going on 2 deaths, and we don't want to be counting. Thank you.
Any other comments from members in the board in the physical space? Okay, Alex?
Yeah, I just want, we have the plan to do a comfort station in Oneula Beach Park that's been in process for multiple years. And I have an email I received today that I'll share in the Parks Committee briefly, but it looks like it could get pushed another couple of years. So I also want to put that on the radar and ask for the mayor's support in really pushing that forward and helping us get this park developed. It's one of the only 2 parks we have, and it's the largest for all of Ewa Beach. And it's just been sitting and not getting upgraded like we've been wanting it to for decades. And so I would ask that you take that back and you help, and maybe we can work together to try to get around some of the new barriers that have apparently been put up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from members of the board online? I'd just like to follow up on both of those comments from my perspective. I know Board Member Tanan has asked you about the if you could assist, but more than assist, can you or I'm just hoping that one day we, when we're meeting virtually, that one day we look up and Rick is on screen or something like that. Mayor Blangiardi himself. One can always hope. But seriously, if you could bring back some status at next month's meeting on exactly what has been done to move the Geiger project forward, we would appreciate that, above and beyond what the normal process is.
Will do.
Thank you. And similarly with the parks, I mentioned earlier, I've been on this board for 10 years. I've seen park committees stand up and get really hard charging and get good support from our city and county representatives. And then things kind of die off. We get a new parks person on city council, and there's a lot of motivation, a lot of interest, and sometimes people just get demotivated over time, and the park still looks the same. So early today, the residents and some of the developers, we saw the results of what can happen when people come together and work together as a community. I would think that the mayor and the city council would be very interested in helping our beloved park really start moving with some improvements.
Yes. Right now out there, they're putting in the irrigation system, right, for the ball field. That's ongoing, but yes, definitely the next phase would include the new comfort station. But I will, at next month's meeting, provide a status on that.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Moving on to Councilmember District 1, Councilmember Andrea Tupola.
Hi, aloha.
Aloha.
Sorry. Aloha, this is good evening, Council Chair and committee. We appreciate you so much this evening. Thank you for letting me be here. My name is Jeannie from Councilmember Andrew Tupola's office. I have what I have emailed to you guys, just a reminder of an upcoming flyer of the public safety that's going to happen in May at Honolulu. Meeting, that town hall meeting that she's going to be throwing. Oh, I'm sorry, that she's going to be in support with. And the second item was her e-bike statement that she had submitted in reference to the safety of our community. But other than that, I have nothing else to report, and I am open for questions.
Comments from members of the board in the physical meeting space? Mitch?
Again, same thing. With the mayor's rep, get the council support to move that light down on Geiger and Kamakana.
Yeah, so I'll be taking back to the team that information of a follow-up also. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mitch. Any other comments in the physical meeting space? Members of the board online? I just have one quick follow-up. I unofficially communicated with the councilwoman on Facebook. I tagged her after we had that latest e-bike incident here in Ewa Beach late one night a couple weeks ago. One can always hope. I'd like to see an emergency ordinance. I know HPD is diligently working, and I'm not sure exactly what we're looking for, what I'm looking for when I say an emergency ordinance. But HPD has stepped up their efforts. But if we could get her to comment on how the e-bike enforcement is evolving in our community. That specific incident happened in Councilmember Tupola's district. So, and we have issues with that throughout Ewa Beach. So if we could get some commentary on that on a recurring basis, that would be great. And not just a statement.
Not a problem. I'll go ahead and take that back.
Okay.
So it's the e-bike enforcement, correct?
E-bike enforcement and what additional measures? I know we just passed the bill, the city council passed the bill, but as the HPD officer alluded to earlier, there's no real, I think he said he can't put any tickets or fine anyone. So they're just kind of doing the motor vehicle violations at this point. So there may be something that city council is working on. We don't know, but As you know, as you're aware, there's been some deaths here in Ella Beach associated and some serious injuries with e-bikes. So it may be getting better, and maybe it has to get worse before it get better. But if we could keep that at top of mind, that'd be good.
Yes, sir. I'll go ahead and present that back to the team.
Thank you. Members of the community in the physical meeting space, any comments? Seeing none? Ms. Tara, you're online?
Yeah.
You have-
Aloha, yeah, Tara Rojas. I just want to say mahalo nui for the email that I received that she agreed about my suggestion to include the sewer fee increase insert into all of our sewer bills so that we are aware that the sewer fee increase, you have the ability to comment and to testify and bring your concerns. So just, I guess through your this point in the meeting, just to let you know, it has been paused. So everybody, if you're still here, listening, that you have the ability to still provide your input to look at other ways to raise the sewer fee that's needed for upgrading the infrastructure. Because right now it's at 4%, they marked it for July, and then they blanked out the other 9 years. And so again, it's gonna go to full council hearing and then go back to budget. So again, mahalo nui just for that communication that I received. And so that more people are aware of what's happening and to be part of the process. Mahalo.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you. Moving on to Councilmember District 9, Augie Toba. And I'd like to commend you, sir, for getting here very early before the meeting, staying for the meeting and presenting. So we're going to expect you to stay till 10 too, just by the way.
Don't I usually?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, aloha chair, board members, Aaron Michael Ho here from the office of Councilmember Augie Toba. I distributed the council members' report earlier, and there are extra copies on the back table for your convenience. I will stand on that report in the interest of time. However, I did want to touch on one community concern we've been hearing a lot of recently in our office, and that's the fact that with the new bus routes, the 44 no longer goes to Queens West. So we did reach out to DTS, and they informed us that the reason that stop was omitted was because when they looked at the bus numbers or the ridership numbers, Queens West didn't have much in the way of those numbers, so they omitted the stop, but they are willing to go back and take another look at that. And then if they decide to change their position or go back to discussion on that, we will keep you informed of what we hear. And that's kind of all I have to say about that, because as legislative officers, we don't have any real control over that. I just wanted to let you know that we are, at least holding those discussions. And with that, I will take questions.
Thank you. Members of the board in the physical space, any comments, questions? Seeing none. Members of the board online, seeing none. Members in the meeting room. Yes, sir.
Melvin Almero. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight, Aaron. For Augie, I got a question. So the 41 bus route, it used to come by, I believe, Fort Weaver by Calvary Chapel. So the hardest part is the bus is now by Ilima. So it's kind of hard because when you're in a rush, you have to run. And similar, that's what happened. I had to do that to make the bus. So it was difficult, but I want to say that the route is hard for me to tell yet actually how good it is, because I just rode it a few times. But riding it so far is pretty quick. But what I'm afraid of is that if it's really quick, there may be people that may not be able to catch it, meaning it's too fast. And it's going through Ocean Point, which is really nice because there's people there that probably can't even get to the 41, and that's a big problem. So all I want to say is there just needs to be a few improvements to see what we can do. And other than that, it's pretty fast. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions? Thank you. Appreciate it. Moving on to Board of Water Supply. Aloha.
Good-
Alex said, Kelson, you've changed.
I know, Kelson has changed. Anyway, I'm new. I'm Cora from the Board of Water Supply. Nice to meet you all. So in the Eva district for the month of March, we had 3 water main breaks. One was on 91726 Polo Ula Place in Eva Beach. The other one was at 91471 Pupu Street. And then the last water main break we had is at 91013 Pohakupuna Place. I also brought a flyer today that I put on the back and I had passed out to everyone regarding Detect the Leak events being held at the malls. That's all I have.
Questions from members of the board in the physical meeting space? Seeing none. Members of the board online? Seeing none. Questions from members of the community? Whichever.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Representative David Alcos. I live on Poacapuna Road.
Oh, you live.
Uh, anyhow, that road always get water main breaks, sewer breaks, and all that kind of stuff. What are we doing to that road? Are we just patching? And when it breaks again, are we patching or are we replacing? What has been doing, or if you're not sure, would you be able to come back to us and let us know what is your plans on Poacapuna Road, as well as you're sitting in here, you can see the new infrastructure coming in that area, and with all the development coming, so that road being chopped up many times, and to repair and fix that road again, wanted to know if you have any plans or anything on that information.
Okay, so I'll bring your question, I'll answer your question. I'll go back to my office and I'll find out the information regarding Poacapuna Road of what's being done. And then at the next meeting, I'll go ahead and answer your
Okay.
question.
One more, on the Fort River Road by the canal, you guys doing the sewer?
Okay, wait, hang on. Fort Weaver Road by the canal.
Yes. It's been on hold for about a year, a little bit longer now. And with all the infrastructure, the businesses, police been watching over the place. I mean, we're spending a lot of money. And yet I understand that it's construction and permitting, but we want to know exactly what's the problem. And let the community know, instead of just saying that we're waiting on permits or waiting plans, let us know what are we waiting for? What is there, some 6-inch pipe or one, get more information to us that way we know what was the holdup all this time.
I'm not so familiar with Fort Weaver Road, that area you're talking about, so that I can answer the question at the next meeting. Could you tell me real quick?
Right off of Poacapuna. So just past Poacapuna, not even a football field down,
So it's on the
there.
corner of Fort Weaver
right in the,
and
yeah,
Poacapuna,
pretty much.
and there's some kind of
Yeah,
Board of Water Supply,
sewer and water stuff.
sewer and water. Okay, I will find out. You want an update of they're gonna patch it or?
Yes,
what's-
give us an update, what's the holdup? And yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Grace Jackson, and I live on the corner of Kilaha, and that goes all the way down to Kilaha Street. And it is, fortunately, we don't have that much traffic, so that, when we're reduced to one lane, we're gotten accustomed to it. But yeah, like, what's going on there? And sometimes the sound smell like sewer. Yeah.
Okay, I will try to find out the answer to those questions, and I'll try to present it at the next meeting. And I will consult with the board of the time frame that it's gonna take me to answer those questions.
Oven Amro. I got a question. Sorry. Please tell me your name. Forgive
My
me.
name is Cora.
Nice to meet you, Cora. Thank you very much for being here. I got a question about the pipes. So correct me if I'm wrong. I know the technology for the pipes there's water and sewer. And I saw like maybe like a purple color for sewer. It looks like purple or pink. I'm not sure what color is magenta. And I saw a blue color pipe. So my question is, the pipes you guys are putting in, are they quality pipes?
Yeah, it depends, because I work for the Board of Water
Mhm.
and sewer is a wastewater department.
Right,
That's
so
a
the
diff-
Board of Water, I mean, because you guys are gonna replace the pipes. So basically, I was just referencing for the water pipes, because the technology is different.
So you would like to know what,
Yeah, I'd just like to know what type of pipes you guys
what
are putting
type
in.
of pipes,
Right.
okay?
Thank you.
And you're asking for the Pohaku Puna area also.
Right,
Okay,
Okay, I will get the
Okay.
answer for you at the next meeting.
all right. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Sorry
Cora.
about that.
Thank you.
Moving on to Department of Education. Do we have a rep? Is there a rep? Is there a DOE rep in the building? Online? No, okay. Governor Josh Green's representative. She has left the building, okay. Moving on to Senate District 19, Senator Henry Aquino.
Aloha Chair, board members, Nathaniel Issa representing Senator Aquino this evening. Chair, I do believe I sent in the neighborhood board report this afternoon. And with that being said, I do stand by my report. Thank you.
Any questions from members of the board? Seeing none? Questions from the members of the board in the virtual space? Seeing none? Members of the community? Seeing none? Thank you. Moving on
Thank
to
you.
Senate District 20, Senator Kurt Favela. Moving on, Senate District 21, Senator Mike Gabbard, or Representative.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Aloha.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, and Board and community members. I'm Melanie. I'm Senator Gabbard's Community Liaison. The Senator sends his best, and he invites you all to read his April newsletter, and I'll share that link into the chat right after I'm finished. Also, Senator will be hosting his May Listen Story meeting from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Villages of Kapolei Rec Room 2. His May Listen Story meeting is going to be a big wrap up of the legislative session, where Senator will go over the bills and share their outcomes over this past session. But feel free to reach out to our office if you have any questions or we can assist you in any way. But with that, I'd be happy to take any questions back to the Senator.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the board in the physical space? Alex, and then Susan?
Yeah, thank you, Melanie. I just wanted to, if you could just pass up the word to the senator and thanking him for attending to the request for some traffic studies and really supporting that, as well as the HR 2728 proposed by Rep. Reyes Oda and his support of that working group to look at lead contamination issues at PRTF. So I just wanted you to pass the word up of thanks to him. Thank you.
Yes, I definitely can. Thank you.
Susan?
Yes, just real quick. I didn't catch the date and the time for the Villages of Kapolei Talk Story with the Senator.
It is May 17th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I can be sure to send the board a flyer once we finalize one.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from members of the board online? Seeing none? Questions or comments from members of the community? Seeing none? Okay. Moving on to Representative District 39, Elisha Purick. Moving on to Representative District 40, Representative Julie Reyes Oda.
Hello, everybody. I am building capacity, so I'm going to tell you guys two things, and I'm going to give it to my guy to finish it up. So the two things that I'm going to talk about is the PRTF work group is actually going to be heard as a concurrent resolution tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So while it is now in the late zone, I would say if anybody wants to submit any testimony for it, go ahead and do that. That is HCR 28. So if you look that up, all you have to do is go to the capital.hawaii.gov website. And on the top right, you'll see the search bar in there, type it in, and then you can do testimony from there. Second thing is, I made a request to get the data from the former Representative Martinez's study on the lead. I guess that was requested in 2023. And so my office is in receipt now of the results of that. So if anybody wanted to see it, I can email it to you guys. But I am not a scientist, so therefore I'm not interpreting results for anybody. So I think that's it. I'm going to pass it to him.
Robbie Allen, Office Manager for Rep. Zota. So I'm just going to cover some ongoing issues we've been looking into. Some were raised at the town hall last week that we held, and thank you for those of you here who came. We appreciate it a lot. So illegal left turns at Holomua Elementary, the city and county is looking to install tough curbs to replace down delineators and is awaiting funding from DOT. Tough curbs are basically stronger delineators. So just a better version of what was put in place there already. Shared use path on Pu'uloa Beach Park to Kilaha Street. DOT is awaiting a topographical survey and is scheduled to advertise the project in December 2026. Speed humps on Kuhina Street. Funds for the design of these are included in the city and county budget for 2026. Crosswalk and bus stop modifications at Lima Intermediate. DTS is looking and willing to restart conversations with our office and Principal Greenland at Ilima. And lastly, of these, bus route to Iroquois Point and Kapalina Beach houses. Service is tentative for August this year. DTS is meeting with Oahu Transit Services next week to discuss planning for the route. If you want to see any of these, we have them all listed on the handout that's on the table there. So for those who can't, that's where they are. Thank you. Sorry. Any questions, please?
Oh, okay. Oh, not the chair board to say. That was perfect. Perfecto. Questions or comments from members of the board? Susan?
Just very quick, thank you for getting that bus service reinstated at Capilano Beach Homes. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't us. So we're reporting it out. Just to make sure we're.
Okay,
we're not-
thank you.
Any other comments? Mitch and then Alex?
Holomua, you said tough curb?
Right.
So is that a curb or is it just a delineator?
So it's a bit of both. It's
Curb with a delineator on top?
yeah. I'll hand one to you after this. It's both where it's a curb with delineators coming out of it. So it sort of fortifies the delineators.
Very cool. Alex?
No.
Questions or comments from members of the board online? Seeing none? Question or comments from members of the committee? Yes, sir.
Melvin Almero, thank you very much, Julie Odor, and your team. I really appreciate you folks being here tonight. Thank you for being so kind and patient. I have a question about the tests for the contamination. I know you said you're not a scientist. Actually, I know a lot about science, and I can actually interpret what the contamination of the lead and how much percentage. So what I wanted to say is that, is there any way you could give any insight on, you know, if it's a lot or a little, or you can't comment at all?
I would probably, so by trade, I'm a teacher, math teacher, and I would say that in this capacity, if I make statements about it, I think it would probably be not not in the best interest of anybody for me to pretend that I can read these. So what I would probably like Alex, if he's the scientist in the room, if somebody who is a scientist can interpret it. I did ask for the interpretation, like an interpretation guide or something with it, and I didn't get a response back from
Okay.
yesterday.
So I just had a question though. So I will email you, and if you can, is there any way I can take a look at the data?
Yes.
Okay, I can solve it pretty fast. So what I want to say is that I just, well, I guess just want to make a scientific guess, I could say. If there is a lot of lead, my concerns are for both, for the people and for my Marines. I want my Marines to be safe, and I want my Marines to be able to perform effectively in their jobs. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Aloha.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One more question from a member of the board, Tananis.
Quick question. You know, I thought Elijah came and cut his hair, but we haven't seen it. We haven't seen him in a while.
I told you.
And no rep. So, you know, I just wanted to, if you can tell your counterpart in the square building, if he can come show,
I
you know.
told him to stand up first. They wouldn't know because I haven't seen him in 2.5 years. They're exactly the same height, 6'4.5".
So just saying, if possible, that he can come show up, you know, if there's any residents that have some concerns or resident community concerns in his district. There's no representative online or here in any of the meetings, so if possible, can
Okay, so Robbie, you're to talk to Elijah. Sorry, yeah.
talk to you twin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rep. Appreciate it.
Thank-
Moving on to Representative District 41, Representative David Alcos, the third.
Aloha, guys, chair, members. First of all, just want to say Rep. Julia Oda had her first town hall meeting, and that was amazing. Did a great, did it? Yes. Reyes, Julius. Anyway, she had a great meeting and awesome, good job. And wanted to talk a little bit about how Bush right now, there's a holdup on construction because they don't have they put in the main line, but they didn't put in the small lines that connected out to the parks. They didn't have it on island. I talked to the contractor. The contractor said that it should be starting back up at the end of the month or sometime within a month and a half. They also told me that about the Fort River Road, and it didn't really start up yet as well by the canal. They've been waiting on materials. This is a different contractor. So hopefully the thing should be starting soon on both projects. At the park at Pualoa Beach Park, we jumping around the place. The parks is looking bad already. The grass out there seemed like the water sprinkler, something went wrong again. Kids are playing in dirt. There was a lot of vandalism on the fence as you're driving out of Eva Beach. You would look, this whole wall was be covered with vandalism and tagging all the walls out there. I got some pictures if you guys want to see. But I did take a football team out there and we did put the primer on. Maybe sometime next week, we're going to put the finish on. We use Eva Beach Cardinals and some other community members to, these kids was putting back. This is about 5th grade, 6th grade. So hopefully that they can learn that they don't jump in, you know, tag other places and they take care of their community park. Fishing, sorry, I gotta get here. The old Bank of Hawaii, or is it First Hawaiian? The fishing store is moving over there. So they have the fishing store where it is now, where the old Bank of Hawaii is, and they're relocating the fishing store right where the old First Hawaiian Bank is now. Yeah. By Safeway, the early learning, there's an early learning center also would be coming up over there for the Sylvia Loop is one of her projects that she wants to do with 3 years old and start getting more early learning centers in our community. So that's one coming up. I had a meeting with Andrea Tupuola at Nimitz Beach of getting bathrooms out there, maybe some showers because there's none where that roundabout is. And also we had a community project out at Verona Village. We took out about 10 big trucks of loads of tires, ice box and all kinds of stuff. And also with Angie and Eva community residents that been out there with, and yeah, that is it. Any
Thank
questions?
you, Rep. Any questions from members of the board? Mitch, and then Alex.
Hey, Rep. Alcos, you know, when you're talking about contractors that's doing work, you know, at our parks and stuff like that, like, you know, contract because you're a contractor yourself. Quoting on a job, you should have the supplies, all the stuff you quoted on hand, you know, not saying, oh, I'm missing one part, so we're going to delay, you know, for the community. And if the city and also the state, I'm going to say, don't just look at the lowest bid if possible, and look at the past work performance on these contractors that's come into the community, because it's a delay for our community, you know. And I get upset where these contractors come in and they're just the lowest bid, and it is they get the lowest bid and good to go, and then we're the guys that's not getting the on time and on budget, and not, I mean, just nothing.
I agree with you 100%. And that should have been bought out already. So maybe they had a contract or bid on the job for a while. That should have been bought out and they're already on island. A little bit more about Oniwala Beach Park. As they running the machines, they're damaging our grass. Right now, they're not watering our grass. And they're saying that they're only going to patch back in the grass. They're not going to reseed the whole field. Right now, you got weeds already growing, taking over and stuff like that. So I want to try to make sure that the contractors or someone going to reseed the whole field and try to fix that up better. So, you know, that was their word. And hopefully that we can look into that.
Alex?
Do you have any idea? I haven't heard. I heard rumors, but nothing in concrete. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rep.
Thank you.
Moving on to Representative District 42, Representative Diamond Garcia.
Okay, awesome. Aloha, Chair Clark, members of the board. My name is Hunter Harris. I'm a legislative aide for Representative Diamond Garcia, and I'll be delivering the neighborhood board report for tonight. So a couple of things that Rep wanted me to highlight in our newsletter to you folks. The main one was the DHHL awardees, the home leases that Rep Garcia got to attend the ceremony. So really cool. 2 homesteads in District 42, Ka'ulu'okahai, as well as Kaupe'a, will be developing more homes, and over 700 leases were awarded. These leases were awarded to leasees before the homes were built to give them time for financing and infrastructure to be built in both homesteads. So it was really exciting. There are a lot of people there, a lot of emotions, and it was very exciting. And Rep was very happy to see a lot of these people get awarded their leases. One person had been waiting since around the 1950s, so or around there. So that was really cool. Another thing is the mid-session survey, or close to end of session survey that we have. We have this open until April 25th, and Rep is encouraging everyone to take it. We've gotten 71 responses so far, and there's a lot of cool questions on there related to gambling, as well as crime prevention, and e-bike safety, because that's been a huge issue in our community. And then on the back, we also have Rep's take on the e-bike situation that just happened on March 22nd, as well as the PFAS situation, and then the new affordable housing development in Ewa. So that's kind of what we have. We also have these handouts as well with the mid-session survey QR code, if anyone wants to take these as well, if there are no other newsletters available.
Any questions from members of the board in the physical space? Seeing none? Questions or comments? None online? Members of the community in the physical space? Yes, sir.
Melvin Amaro, thank you very much for being here, for representing us and the Honorable Diamond Garcia. So I got a question. So talking about those affordable homes in Eva.
Yeah.
Will they also be for people who have disabilities too?
That I'm not too sure. I can get back to you on that, Melvin.
Oh, okay.
But I know that it was announced by the city, and they're going to be starting construction very soon.
Okay. Can you put in a word for me? Because people like us with well, it's not necessarily a disability in my opinion, but it's kind of hard for me to explain, but we need like special places to live because sound bothers us a lot. So that's the whole reason why I buy this too. And I mean, I wear this. And another thing too is like we're really sensitive to a lot of stuff, you know? So like I would just appreciate if they could look further into it to see if they could actually make places for people like us too. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Aloha.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Moving on to committee reports. Parks.
Yeah, so Rep Alcos has been real good and pushing forward on Honolulu Beach Park, and so has Tupola more recently. And I got an email today that, so we've been working on that comfort station and trying to get that installed for a long time. I know I get this feeling that now they're doing this irrigation system, that they're kind of saying like, hey, you guys are getting the irrigation system, so kind of be happy, even though that irrigation system was not even something that was high on our priority list. It's always been the comfort station. But anyway, it's good that it's happening because that's good. But I just got an email today from Ted, who is the new director that took over for Kehau. And he's really good. But the problem is that he's saying now that there is EA environmental assessment issues so the whole plan was to create a comfort station with a playground and some like some exercise equipment and stuff like that and showers, right? And so now they're saying that part of that can go in, but not the other part. And so that now they kind of they would rather regroup and redo the whole master plan. And that could take 1.5 to 2 years. And so we need to talk. I haven't responded to that email. He's kind of asking our opinion on that. So maybe we can group up and talk about how to respond to that. But I just wanted to share it because at minimum, we're hoping that the plans will go out. There's money put in for the next CIP that we were hoping we could direct towards construction of that thing. And now they're saying that the plans won't even qualify. And it's minimum 8 months, minimum in the best case scenario, and worst case could be multiple years. And so I'm pissed off, and yeah, I want to share that. That's from that Parks Committee.
So was a council member included on that email? Was that just you in the committee?
I don't know who was CC'd on that. I know John Rogers and I, who are on the Parks Committee, were. I don't know if David, if you know about that.
Yeah, he's a rep from Talbot City Council.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think anyone else was. I actually don't know. Let me get back now.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from members of the board? I'm sorry, for the Parks Committee, other than my question. No, Mike? No. Okay. Education reports. Seeing none. Transportation.
Sorry, I'm on that one too. I just wanted to say that, for Rep Reyes-Oda and like working with us to try to, there's a lot of initiatives that we have, and Aaron and Toba as well, that we're kind of bringing her up to speed on some of the things that are priorities for the Transportation Committee as well. So we'll give you an update on that next time when we get some advances.
Thanks, Alex. Ampo? Susan? Intern Ampo? No, I thought Susan was on about Oahu Metropolitan Planning. No? Are you sure, Susan? Okay. Well, John's not here, so. Okay, moving on to public safety, community outreach, homeless outreach. No report. Economic development, no report. Climate change.
Very quickly, James Campbell is having an Earth Day fair to promote environmental awareness and sustainability through interactive exhibits, educational activities, and community engagement. And student families and friends in the community is invited. That is April 16th, 1:15 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then the Filipino Community Center is having a hydroponics workshop on April 19th, 12:30 to 2 p.m.
Thank you, Susan. Hawaiian Affairs? Seeing none? Military Affairs, Mike?
Thanks, Chair. 2 weeks from tonight, right here, 7 p.m. Military Affairs Committee meeting. If you would like to be on the committee, please come on out. One of the good things about committee meetings is that we can spend a lot more time talking. So the concerned community members that are here that are a little frustrated with the amount of time you have to talk, we've got 3 hours. So as I said last month, please come on out. It will not be via WebEx. We got to do it in person because I don't have the skills. But anybody that would like to be on the agenda on the committee or has ideas for the agenda, give me a call or email. I'm on the website there with the contact. So 7 p.m. here, 2 weeks from today, April 24th.
And
And
they,
I have one other thing.
they have to get the agenda suggestions into you over the next week.
It's got to be a little sooner than that. I actually turned in the agenda today, but there is still time
Okay.
in the next few days if somebody wants to be added to the agenda. As a matter of fact, the Red Hill folks wanted to give a 10-minute presentation that were unable tonight. That would be a time where they'd be able to do that
So
as
the
well.
deadline is 1 week before the meeting. So you actually have until this upcoming Friday, next Friday, to add to the
If he'll
agenda.
accept them. So I have one comment about committee reports. I'm wondering if the board might consider moving committee reports to section 3 and combine it with board and planning at some point in time. I'm not making a motion now, but it's frustrating a little bit when people on the committees have done a lot of hard work, Alex and transportation and parks and stuff, and then everybody's gone by this time. So I wonder if we might want to talk about that at the next meeting if we could.
We'll put it on the agenda. Thanks, Mike. All right. Next regular meeting scheduled for Thursday, May 8th at 7 p.m. virtually via WebEx and in person right here. Same bat channel, same bat time. Regular board meetings are broadcast every first Sunday at 6 p.m. and every second and fourth Friday at 10 a.m. on Olelo Digital Channel 49. We are adjourned.